Fucking with Trey.
Get that paper, told that Glock, that's how we live. Yeah, my life's a gamble, I pray I don't get killed. They can't believe I got the guap, this shit for real. Can't accept the fact my brother gone, I wanna kill. Yeah, I can't go for that shit don't sit right. Instead of cabin to the old nigga, I know what you live like. Ain't worried about all, just fuck these hoes and live life. I go on the drill, I'm smart enough, you gotta know how to kill.
The undefeated were lined up once more. Jinpachi Ego looked at them with unmistakable disappointment. "You survived," he said. "Don't misunderstand why." The monitors then lit up. "Your victories weren't proof of greatness. They were only proof of potential. Unpolished, incomplete." Training began that same day. Weights until muscles failed, sprints until legs burned, and for the first time since entering Blue Lock, Isagi began to struggle. His legs felt heavier every morning, his vision blurred at night. So this is the next level. But the predator eye didn't fade. It only sharpened through his harsh training. Even as his body screamed in agony, his mind continued to adapt, cutting efficiency, predicting movement before it even happened. "This hurts," he had whispered one night. "But that's good." Then, Ego revealed the truth. There were multiple Blue Locks, he said calmly. Identical teams, identical ranks. Shock rippled throughout the rooms as each team began to enter. This is a second selection. Walking through to a new area where all sorts of strikers had remained. Each person looking across the room to see an unfamiliar face, someone they didn't face against. Many could see rivals who they did face. And so many strikers stood in awe of what was really going on. But as soon as the next test revealed itself, Isagi pushed forward, wasting no time. Entering this area alone. From out the wall, a ball is launched at him. Traps, shoots, and then it resets again. Almost video game-like screen appears, showing him how many goals he needs to get in this amount of time. Halfway through this process, frustration flared. "I'm wasting time. I need to focus even harder." The predator eye reawakened. And in this moment, Isagi truly began to understand what he was here for. A shot then screamed into the net. No pause, no delay. Continuing to do this faster, he hit 100 before we would know it. He exited silently. Soon, after this, is when Isagi would notice who his teammates were. He could only see someone else standing in front of him, Itoshi Rin. The two would sort of introduce each other in a smug manner, but then Aryu would be the one to walk forward as well. Seeing as these three were the first to make it through, they form a team together. After this, waiting in a new area, soon another team arrived to challenge them, and that team was made up of Kira, Nagi, and Bachira. When they exited to the pitch, or entered it, the whistle echoed sharply. No crowd, no cheers, just a holographic keeper in the background. 3-on-3 football. Stripped to its bones. Isagi's breath was steady, but his body still felt the weight of Ego's brutal conditioning. Muscles still a little sore, lungs almost still burning. Even so, he could see everything. Across the field, Kira stood calm. Nagi slouched, and Bachira bounced on his toes smiling. "Let's have some fun," he would say. And Rin didn't respond. He only moved. He took the ball straight off the kickoff. No pass, no setup. He drove forward with relentless efficiency, touching the ball, keeping it tight, then opening up. As Kira stepped in, it was too late. Rin had already struck the ball from a distance, curving it right into the goal. Almost awestruck, Kira didn't even know what to say, as Rin called everyone lukewarm, already turning away. Isagi had watched this moment, eyes narrowing, no wasted motion, no emotion. He doesn't even overwhelm you. He deletes you. Soon, Team Kira regrouped quickly. Having their own attack, Kira barked to Nagi to pass. A sharp pass cut through. Then, back to Nagi, as he would trap it effortlessly, killing its momentum dead in its track. So troublesome, he muttered. But for some reason, I'm excited. The shot flew, and Aryu stepped across, his leg extended impossibly far, slicing through the air. A block. The ball then ricocheted upward. Majestic, he said calmly, adjusting his posture and fixing his hair. Isagi was already moving. Ball trajectory, defender spacing, keeper, watching him steadily. This time, he traps it and brings the ball down, dribbling ahead with such speed that he couldn't be caught by anyone. Striking the ball with immense power, it soared into the net. A goal. Barou began laughing out loud. Isagi, since when were you this scary? He didn't answer. 2 more steps. That's all it takes. Soon, pressure had shifted. Kira stayed back. Nagi tried to cut off passing lanes, and Barou continued to watch Isagi directly. You're a threat now, he would say, cheerfully. But as they began their own attack, it was quickly cut off. Soon, as Aryu had the ball, instead of trapping it, he instantly sent it forward. This type of pass had so much speed that it almost would catch Isagi off guard, but he was prepared. Now, instead of trapping it himself, he let it pass the center line, twisting his hip motions. A snap. A strike then detonated into the net before anyone could react. Everyone had noticed that he didn't even hit it with his dominant foot or what they thought was. He used his left foot. Silence filled the area. Ren then turned slowly to him. You didn't even try to stop the ball. Isagi exhaled. Stopping it wastes time. And you and me both know we don't have that. Ren almost felt something different, fuming from Isagi. It was sort of like his own rage and motivation, something the two could share, each having a desire to completely crush an elder brother, but neither would know. Soon, Barou clapped his own hands. Alright, then it's my turn. On their next possession, he surged forward, dribbling like liquid, elastic touches, unpredictable rhythm. Aryu reached, and he missed. Isagi stepped in, but Barou slipped right by him in the nick of time, scoring his own goal, laughing, and his laughter echoed in the arena. But after this, it seemed that this team of dominant strikers would truly take off in this moment. Ren, not even looking back, would say, "Conviction without results is useless." Taking the ball on his next possession, dribbling around Kira and Nagi, slamming it into the net. Now, they only needed one more goal to finish off this match. Everything in Isagi's mind began to focus harder. Every movement, everything he's learned, and even this most recent test. Seeing and analyzing everything that was in front of him, Isagi began to make his move. Instantly, he grabbed the ball, stealing it from Kira. Soon, as he was running forward, Kira and Nagi began to close in from both sides. They're trying to crush me. Good. The predator eye would ignite. Time slowed. It looks like the keeper's feet are almost too wide. Nagi hesitates for just half a second. That gap only fits one type of shot. Isagi drove through with contact. Pain flared. He shot anyway. The ball then really lifted into the air and then completely dipped right behind the keeper into the back of the net. The match was over. Isagi stood still, chest rising, and then falling to one knee, almost a little tired from exhausting himself with that type of shot. His leg burned, but that sensation, that feeling, it was like no other. Ren had glanced at him. irritation burning behind his eyes. I despise you and your strength. But Isagi didn't smile. Not yet. But for the first time, he could feel it. He wasn't chasing anyone. He was truly competing on a high level. Soon, they would choose to take Bachira, and night would completely swallow Blue Lock whole. Isagi trained alone. His breathing was controlled, but his legs, they continued to burn. Every strike echoed against the metal netting and the sharp silence in the room. The Predator Eye, new shooting techniques, new dribbling, but it's still not enough. He reset the ball. Before he could move, footsteps he would hear. You're pretty noisy, you know that? Isagi turned. Itoshi Ren stood at the edge of the field, arms crossed, eyes sharp as blades. Couldn't sleep? Isagi asked. Ren stepped forward. Enough talking. Let's go ahead and settle this. Isagi, already knowing what he meant, got down in a stance. His lips already curled faintly. Bring it on then. The ball rolled between them. No countdown, and they moved at the same instant. Ren struck first. Sharp, efficient dribbling. Every touch calculated to limited options. Isagi mirrored him, with the Predator Eye burning as the world slowed around them. He's closing lanes before I even move. Ren then feinted left and cut right. Isagi barely kept up. Ren clicked his tongue. Lukewarm as ever. They clashed, and Isagi tried to slip past, but Ren's foot intercepted. Again and again. High above, in an observation room, Jinpachi Ego watched, his hands in his coat pockets. Honoree leaned forward, looking at the screen. They're matched evenly, but it seems that Ren still has the edge. Ego smirked. Well, then this is where it begins to get interesting. Leaning closer to the screen himself, ego isn't confidence. It isn't talent. It's the ability to discard yourself. Honoree blinked. Discard yourself? Yes, Ego said calmly. Your past, your pride, your fear. The striker who can abandon everything, even their own identity, will always devour the rest. Ren pressed again. Isagi tried to cut inside. Blocked. His foot slipped and the ball rolled free. Damn it! And for a split second, doubt surfaced. I still can't get around him. The field then began to blur. And a memory, it flooded in. Two boys chasing a ball under a summer sun. Laughter and competition. Barou towering ahead, striking first. Isagi watching, fists clenched. Then later, cold nights, empty fields. Football became revenge, proof, evidence. I'll surpass you. Another memory surged. Isagi, slumped, after losing to Barou. His mother, kneeling beside him, smiling softly. You know, she said, brushing his hair back. This family didn't just create one king. She looked him straight in the eyes, wiping his tears. It created two. Isagi's eyes snapped back into the present. That's it. Forget revenge, forget comparison, forget everything. I have to stop holding on completely. I have to evolve. I can't remain the same any longer. If I can't force my own evolution, then I don't need to be a striker. That could only leave room for error. This is the only thing that matters now, Isagi whispered, planting his foot. I can only do one thing and chase one goal. That's all that matters. Becoming Japan's true striker. Isagi almost had a flow-like aura around him as everything ignited within his mind. Ren lunged forward. Isagi flicked the ball backward with his heel. Then, he sends it over Ren's leg. Ren's eyes widened for the first time. Isagi trapped it cleanly and spun around him in one fluid motion. What? Ren snapped, recovering instantly and chasing him down. You're still lukewarm. Isagi chopped the ball with his back foot once again, violently changing direction. Space tore open. He shot, and Ren lost control. Damn it! He fouled him, slamming his foot down, bodies colliding, blocking the lane. But Isagi, he stayed focused on the ball, striking anywhere. The shot, it disappeared. A blur. A new technique. One with blinding speed and accuracy, no matter the circumstance. A royal spear. The net screamed. A goal. Isagi stood frozen, chest heaving. What was that? How did I? He said quietly. Ren stared at the net, looking down at the ball, fist shaking, then back to Isagi. In another room, Ego smiled. There it is. Honoree couldn't believe it. He discarded himself. Ego nodded. And it seems that he's reborn in some light. Even for an unpolished gem, he's quite the interesting one. Time passed differently within Blue Lock. Days blurred into iron and sweat, numbers and pain. Isagi and Ren pushed each other relentlessly, shoulder to shoulder in the weight room. Silent competitions over reps, sprints, and even recovery time. Neither ever spoke much. They didn't need to. Every glance said the same thing. I won't fall behind you. One night, as plates clanked and breaths grew heavy, the door cracked open. Isagi looked up first. Kira stepped in, calm as ever. Behind him, Bachira, who was grinning wide. And then, a familiar presence rolled in like a storm. Red eyes, broad shoulders, and a king's stride. Shohei Barou. Isagi's chest tightened in this moment. Barou stopped right in front of him, looking down at his younger brother. So, Barou said, low and dominant. You've climbed pretty high, little brother. Isagi met his gaze without flinching. You still plan to look down on me? He would say while standing up. Now, the two brothers were eye to eye. Barou began to laugh. Don't think because you gained a little height means anything. I'll crush you again, and this time, I'll make sure you never forget it. Ren scoffed from the rack. You all talk too much, so what's the point of you even being in here? Chigiri is the last to step in, tying his hair back. Well, then we can save it all for the pitch. Bachira clapped his hands. Tomorrow it is then. It sounds fun. The next day, we'd see them all lined up. Team Ren, Isagi, Aryu, and Bachira. The new Team Kira, which was Kira, Nagi, Barou, and Chigiri. The whistle blew, starting the game. Ren took control immediately, firing a sharp shot from distance. It was too obvious. Kira stepped in, deflecting it cleanly. Not this time, he said calmly. The ball rebounded. Isagi's predator eye snapped on. The holographic keeper leaning in, the left exposed. He struck without hesitation. Goal. 1-0. Barou snarled because of this. After this, Kira had to regain his composure instantly, resetting the game with a soft pass. Nagi trapped it. Like gravity didn't apply to him. Such a pain, he had muttered. But I don't feel like losing anymore. Then he flicked it past Aryu, and he finished. Tying the game. Isagi clicked his own tongue. I wasn't expecting that from him. This is when something new would emerge. Resetting the game, Isagi stood with the ball under his feet. As soon as it was time for them to start, he surged forward aggressively. Barou and Chigiri collapsed on him. You're not getting through, Chigiri shouted. Isagi smiled faintly. That's fine. I never planned to at this moment. A blind pass. Ren, reacting on instinct. What? One touch to a quick strike. A goal. Ren glanced back. You passed to me. How weak. Isagi nodded. Don't get used to it, pretty boy. I'm here for one thing and one thing only, to become the very best. But I can't lose to people like this. Bachira giggled as he took the ball. But it wasn't their turn, of course. So the team resets. Kira and Chigiri try to press forward with their own attack, but it's cut out by Bachira, stealing the ball. It's my turn now. He danced through the defenders, slipping past Chigiri once again and spinning around Kira, baiting Barou into lunging. Too slow. He then flicks the ball right into the air, kicking it into the goal. 3-1. Barou then slammed his fist into the turf, angry. The next time out, they would try to run forward with an attack, but it stopped. So now, Team Ren has their counter. As they go forward, Bachira tries to get another shot off, but it's deflected by Kira and goes out of bounds, and their team is awarded a corner kick. Ren would set up the ball. Kira wondered, who would he pass to? But Ren didn't have any thoughts like that in his mind. Kicking the ball instantly, it curved viciously into the net. Another goal was scored, and now they were at match point. Lukewarm, he said coldly. Kira had to exhale slowly. Adapt, he would say to himself in his mind, over and over again, knowing that he needs to adapt in order to beat this team of monsters. Running forward, he spun and then struck with no rotation. The ball dipped violently, a knuckle shot. A goal was scored here, and Bachira, he was excited by this, but Isagi narrowed his eyes. It seems that he's still growing, but I'll crush him next. This is when something unprecedented happened. As the game reset, Isagi closed his eyes. It seemed that the world began to bow down to him. As a flow state appeared, Barou charged at him directly. I won't let you pass me. Isagi slowed and then toyed with him. One feint into two, into a sudden stop. Barou overcommitted. Isagi leapt. Then, he flicked the ball over his brother. In an open space, far outside the box, Isagi did something he hadn't done before. A perfect bicycle kick screamed into the net, ending the match, completely overwhelming his brother, who was said to be the king. Barou was stunned. He had no words for this. He couldn't believe it. His younger brother not only caught up to him, but was somehow starting to surpass him. Isagi landed lightly, breathing steadily. I'm done chasing you. Then, the choice was next. Ren would turn to Kira. You're coming with us. Kira exhaled, then nodded. I expected as much. Barou looked away, having to go back to the next stage because they lost here. Screens soon flickered, and Jinpachi Ego would appear grinning. Congratulations! You've reached the final stage of the second selection. Now different people appeared upon the screens. How about your next 5 opponents? The World 5 team. Shock hit everyone. Isagi's heartbeat slowed. This is it. Ren almost smiled, thinking of the competition. Bachira clenched his fist, and Kira just adjusted his stance. Ego's voice then echoed throughout this room. Devour the world or be erased by it. Isagi, his eyes, burned even brighter in this moment. Skipping to the day of that match, the air felt heavier. 5 figures stood across the pitch, casual, relaxed, smiling, like this was nothing more than a warm-up. Julian Loki, Leonardo Luna, Adam Blake, Pablo Cavazos, Dada Silva, all stood, waiting for their first challenge. Isagi focused. So this is the world. And as they lined up, Isagi stepped forward towards Loki. Loki turned to him, eyes sharp, almost curious, as if he could sense something. So, he said, you're one of them. Isagi met his gaze. I'm chasing the same dream that you are. Loki's smile had widened. To become what? The savior for Japan? No. I don't care about being a savior for a nation. I want to become the world's best. And I won't stop until I reach that dream. For a moment, Loki's eyes almost glowed, excited by this challenge. Then force me, no, force the world to acknowledge you. The game began. The World 5 moved first. Pressure suffocated the pitch. Isagi felt it immediately. Their presence alone bent space. Then, somehow, Ren had intercepted the ball. Ren had snapped. Moving forward, Isagi wasn't even thinking. A sharp 1-2 between these two strikers. No hesitation, no wasted step. Ren drew Luna in and slipped the pass through. Isagi struck the ball. A goal. Silence had followed, with Ren claiming that he didn't even want to pass it to him, but he had no choice here. Isagi just tells him that he doesn't have time to argue with him. They need to win. Loki only laughed. That was pretty good. Kira stood frozen. That wasn't luck. Every touch had been deliberate. Every movement between those two, it was synchronized. They weren't reacting. They were deciding. So this is what this level of football can look like. Two strikers sharing the same future. But when the game reset, Loki moved and then exploded. He vanished past everyone, the ball glued to his feet. A blur, into a strike, into a goal. Isagi's eyes had widened. He didn't even accelerate fully. Soon, on another possession, Luna received the ball with his back to the goal. Turning instantly and blocking off Aryu from stealing it, he fires a shot that shook the net violently. After this is when Cavazos had the ball on his own possession. His shot felt so surgical. It wasn't forced. It was almost perfection as he had dribbled around people and then opened up his own path to goal. Isagi truly couldn't believe anything he was witnessing. This is the gap between him and some of the world's best. It almost excited him to a point. He surged forward with his vision expanding on his own possession, believing he could still fight. This is when Adam Blake stepped in, solid and immovable. Isagi crashed into him as his shot was blocked. He didn't even look strained at all. "You're too eager," he said calmly. Loki then grinned, recovering the ball. Enough. Now, after this, is when the World 5 would take over, ending the match. Isagi stood frozen, his chest feeling heavy. Adam Blake walked over to him. "You're strong," he said. "But when your emotions spike, your attentions, they become readable." Isagi looked up. "You awaken power, yeah, but you leave yourself exposed." Blake met his eyes. "Expand your view of yourself and of the field." He then slipped away, walking with just that advice sitting on Isagi's mind. I'm still incomplete. Outside on the world, far away from Blue Lock, they received some backlash. Japan's Football Association fired back that this experiment had gone too far. A press conference had followed, and then to an announcement. Japan's U20 team versus Blue Lock's 11. The screen then cut to a familiar face, showing a midfielder who hadn't returned in quite some time. Then it cut back to Isagi, who was sitting in his room, thinking about that match. This isn't the end. It's only the beginning.